Welcome to the Sidewalk Vending CMFO training session. In this presentation, you will learn how to legalize your sidewalk vending business. If you are applying to our free cart program, this training is mandatory. We will be covering a variety of topics, including the requirements to qualify for this program, the different license and permits needed to operate, the types of carts available, and the process of being in compliance. My name is Elizabeth Padilla, and I manage our sidewalk vending program here at Icon CDC. I've been working for this organization since 2019, helping hundreds of sidewalk vendors and small businesses with launching their business. We recently finished a seed grant program where we connected vendors to seed grants with which they were able to purchase carts, such as the ones here on this page. We have years of educating and empowering vendors to reach their goals of starting their business. And here is one of our recent success stories, Mariscos La Corita, who is operating as a sidewalk vendor. And thanks to joining our seed grant program, she was able to collect a $10,000 grant, and she was also assisted with a microloan to purchase her trailer and legalize her business. Before we get started, I'd like to educate you on your rights. So, sidewalk vending is legal in the state of California. So, what does that mean? SB 946 was signed in 2018, decriminalizing sidewalk vending in California, establishing some rules and regulations. Then in 2022, SB 972 was signed with the purpose of removing barriers to accessing food vending permits. So, if you'd like to look up these Senate bills online, you can find more information. But essentially, anywhere in California, sidewalk vending is no longer a crime. But of course, every city has their own rules, their own regulations. And in this presentation, we're going to be covering the rules for the city of Los Angeles. So here we have a cheat sheet. If you're part of our program, you probably already have a copy. If you don't, please feel free to reach out to us. We like to include the 5 different license and permits required for vendors in the city of Los Angeles, as well as the City of Los Angeles sidewalk vending rules issued by the Streets LA department. And we're going to be covering the rest of these permits in more detail later on in this presentation. What we have here is the sidewalk vending rules diagram. So the city has a Streets LA program which enforce this sidewalk vending permit. So anybody that's on the streets, they need to have a Streets LA badge. In addition to the badge, you will need to be in compliance with certain rules, such as picking up your trash, allowing enough space for anybody in a wheelchair to go by your area, and keeping enough distance from anything else included on this diagram, such as 3 feet from another vendor, 3 feet from a lamppost, a tree, a parking meter, a fire hydrant, and making sure there's enough space for any pedestrians to walk by the sidewalk. Another thing I'd like to point out is if the curb is painted red, it also applies to you on the sidewalk. So please make sure you're keeping a distance from that area, not being on any corner either, so you can allow space for anyone coming by on a wheelchair or with a stroller. If you have any questions in regards to these rules, feel free to reach out to the Streets LA department. The number is at the bottom of this page, 213-847-6000. So here is the flyer for our program. Again, if you are part of this program, you should have a copy of this already. If not, feel free to reach out and I'd be glad to send you a copy. We have some information about how to sign up for our program. So the QR code here, if you scan it, it will take you to an intake form on our website where you fill it out and you'd be on our list. From then, we would contact you to come and make an appointment and fill out anything else that you need. And we have the basic requirements here that are needed for this program. So you must have a social security number or ITIN number. This is because any of the license and permits will be asking for one, so you will need it in order to apply for this program. In addition, you will also need to get all the necessary license and permits that are mentioned in the cheat sheet. That is in order for you to operate legally a sidewalk vending food business. We will also provide you with the sidewalk vending rules and regulations so that you understand how to operate on the streets. And you will need to have a mode of transportation for the cart. If you are chosen as a winner, you will need to have either a pickup truck or a trailer to be able to take it with you, and a place to store it. So if you see here, these are the four types of carts. They're small carts, they're push carts, they go on top of the sidewalk. So you can store them at home, and we'll be covering a little bit more in the presentation about what are your storage options, but they do need to be in an enclosed space. And most importantly, for this program, in order to qualify, you must operate your business in the city of Los Angeles. You don't necessarily have to live here in the city, but your business does have to be located within the city. And we're going to be going over a map of where exactly that is. So here we have a City of Los Angeles Council District map. There are 15 council districts in the City of Los Angeles. So if you see here, anything in color is part of the city. Anything in white would not be part of the city. So if you want to apply for this free card program, you have to make sure you're operating in any of these 15 council districts. So if you see here, it's most of the San Fernando Valley, with the exception of the city of San Fernando, and we have parts of downtown LA, parts of the coast. So if you have any questions or you'd like to get more information and confirm whether your business is located within the city, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to help. If you're interested in getting more information about this free card program, where it's coming from, why it has to be part of the city, feel free to go to this website. It's ewdd.lacity.gov, and you can look up Sidewalk Vending. So this program is going to be a part of the Economic and Workforce Development Department. There's more information on their website, like I said. So since it's part of the city, that's why you have to operate your business inside of the city in order to qualify. And for those interested in checking out our website for more information, you can look up www.iconcdc.org. If you go to the Business Services tab, there is a Sidewalk Vending option. And at the bottom of this page, we have more information about Sidewalk Vending and a sign-up form. So if you haven't already signed up with the QR code, you can find the link in English or in Spanish right on our website. So now I'm going to be covering the types of carts. So like I mentioned in the flyer previously, there are 4 types of carts available for this program. So if you're thinking of applying, these are the only options for now. These images are just ideas of how they might look. Essentially, they might look a little different, but for the most part, these are the 4 types and they should be similar to this. So the first is a grill push cart. So like I mentioned, all of these are push carts that go on the sidewalk. This cart can be operated on the sidewalk, and you have a grill, a refrigerator, and a hand washing sink. There are certain restrictions, such as you can't operate any raw meats. So no raw meats can be used in this type of cart. If you have more questions about specifics in regards to the cart, please feel free to reach out to someone on my team. We can definitely explain what it is that you need in order to operate. The next one is the tamale cart, or also known as a hot holding cart. So this cart keeps food warm. It could be items such as tamales, but it can be other items as well, as long as you get them approved. So I've seen other carts do hot dogs. It would kind of be like the Dodger dog, where they're already individually wrapped, similar to a tamale. There's people that are doing other types of foods. So as long as your food has been fully cooked and it's individually wrapped, this cart will keep it warm. The way it works is in the back, you have a space for a propane tank, and so it keeps it at a specific temperature. Then we also have a paleta cart, or also known as an ice cream cart. This is a cold holding cart. So it would only be for prepackaged ice cream, prepackaged, frozen treats that you would just be reselling from this cart that would keep it cold. And lastly, a fruit cart. So the fruit cart available in this program is the basic one, such as this one here, where you will be having prepackaged fruit to sell. In case anyone's wondering the prices, I have a few price ranges here. In case you don't get selected as a winner, you can purchase your own cart. We recommend going through manufacturers that are approved by the health department, because that is the most important part of operating your food business on the streets. But here's an idea. So a grill push cart like this one, we haven't seen anything less than 15,000. The tamale carts or hot holding carts, they usually range between $7,000 to $8,000, and then the ice cream cart could be between $1,000 to $3,000, and the fruit cart, brand new, would be $3,500. Of course, if you look for anything used that's been previously approved by the health department, you could get something a little cheaper. I like to show different options because some of you might not want to do a push cart. Maybe you want to do a bigger menu and you need a bigger cart. So just be aware of the types of carts that are available out there. That's why we always recommend manufacturers that work with a public health department. So, we recognize food trucks. Food trucks are going to be a little more expensive, but they allow for bigger menus. They do allow raw meats. This one in the middle as well, this grilled trailer, also allows raw meats. So the main difference between the push carts and these is that these have 3 compartment sinks. You can use more high risk foods, right? Whereas smaller carts are not allowed to have any high risk foods. This is a different tamale cart, right? From a different manufacturer. Essentially, it's the same design. They both hold a propane tank in the back and have compartments to keep food warm. These are just other designs that you have as options. Some people want a truck that has everything right there, a custom food truck, but maybe a little smaller than the typical food trucks, or a food trailer, right, with no motor, but you're still operating from the street, not the sidewalk. And then just beware of these types of carts here. So we have talked to a lot of vendors that have purchased carts or trailers or food trucks from manufacturers that do not work with the public health department. Or maybe they work with other counties, other cities, other countries, and they're not designed to be approved by the health department here. What happens then? You're going to end up spending more money than you would have if you just bought an approved cart. So just be aware. These are some of the manufacturers listed here that we know work with the health department. So we have the food truck group, we have Firefly Fabrication, Kareem Carts, Revolution Carts. There's a list of more manufacturers, but just explore your options, see what works for you, what price range works for you. But please make sure they are approved by the public health department. Um, you can always ask the manufacturer, or if you're purchasing a used one, just make sure they already have that sticker on it that says that they were approved by the health department. If they already had a health permit in the past, it's easier to just change ownership and you would be guaranteed to get that permit, as opposed to getting maybe a trailer or a cart from another country that you think is cheaper, but then you will never be able to get approved in Los Angeles. So this is one of the examples of the tamale or hot holding cart, just to give you some more information. So these are health department approved. They fit roughly 400 tamales. The dimensions are 3 feet by 3 feet. I already mentioned they start at around $7,500 plus taxes, and these can be stored at home. So you are required to have a 2-gallon propane tank. So they're smaller than your typical propane tanks. You do need a fire extinguisher. You will need a commissary to wash the cart. So you can store it at home, but you will still need a approved space where you're going to wash it. You will be required to have your food handler's card, your business name and address, which will go on the cart. And if you are planning to cook the food at home, you can get a Miko, which is a micro enterprise home kitchen. Otherwise, you would have to either purchase the food from an approved place or get a commercial kitchen to prepare the food. So, how to prepare for this free cart program? I already mentioned this, but I will go over it again because it is important that you know. You do need a social security number or an ITIN number. You do need to operate in the city of Los Angeles. You do need transportation for the cart, storage for the cart, a commercial kitchen or Miko, which I just mentioned, and you do need to participate in a workshop. So either you've already participated in the same workshop hosted by me in person, or virtually, or now you are watching this training online. So, storage examples. You can store it at home if you have a garage, but if you don't, You can build a shed such as this one. It does have to be built on concrete to be leveled. The door must be wide enough for the cart to fit inside. It must be completely sealed. So any edges and corners, you can purchase a silicone gun and just make sure everything's completely sealed so that no water, dirt, trash, vermin, insects gets in there. And a health department inspector will come and approve it. So if they see that it's all good to go, they'll say, okay, yes, you can store your cart here. Another option is a trailer. So this is something that the health department recently approved as a form of storage for your cart. So if you're already going to be purchasing or already have a trailer kind of like this one here, where you're going to be moving the cart, you can apply and see if they will approve this as a mode of storing your cart. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can call our office or you can reach out to us via email. Our phone number is 818-233-0656. You can call, leave a voicemail, leave a text message, email us, and we'll have our contact information at the end. So now we're going to go over which license and permits you need to operate your sidewalk vending business. So on the cheat sheet, we have number 1, which is your City of Los Angeles business license, also known as a tax registration certificate. So this is a free license issued by the City of Los Angeles, and it is required to start your business. Number 2 is a California seller's permit. This is also a free permit, and it is issued by the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. This is needed for you to sell your items, right? That's why it's called a seller's permit. Number 3 is a vendor identification. This permit is issued by the Streets LA department. So it will have your picture, your name, the date it was issued, and the date it is expired. Very important. It will need to identify whether you're a merchandise vendor or a food vendor. So the requirements are a little different. If you're only selling merchandise, you can just get 1, 2, and 3, and you're good to go. If you're selling food, however, you will need a food handler certificate or a food manager if you're planning to operate a food truck or a Miko kitchen, and you will need your public health department permit. So this one is not issued until you have a cart. So you can't apply for a public health permit unless you already have a cart or a trailer or a food truck. Number 6 we have here as well, because if you want to start a business and get a name for your business, we can help you file for a DBA or fictitious business name. This one does cost $26, but it's good for 5 years, and we can help you with getting this done online. So I have another page here just for the public health department because it does have more steps than any of the other permits. So I mentioned you do have to have your storage. It does have to be inspected and passed, and then you will have a inspection of your cart itself. They will give you a letter grade, just like any restaurant would. You know, they have their letters outside of their restaurant. You would also get one for your cart. Once you pass those inspections, then you would get this permit, the public health permit, in the mail. Now I'm going to go over a roadmap. So this roadmap can be found directly on the public health department website. So if you see here, it is a little bit of a lengthy process. Once you have your cart, you will have to apply for a health department permit. Like I mentioned, you will have to pay some fees, make some appointments for the inspections. If you're good to go, then you would be able to get your permit and operate your cart on the street. Once you are chosen as a winner, we will go over this with you in more detail, and we will assist you every step of the way. If anybody has any questions for the public health department, please feel free to call them. The number is at the bottom of this presentation, 626-430-5500. So again, the public health department, it will be the most complicated process out of all the other permits. They are located in Baldwin Park. So it is the county of Los Angeles. So again, you will need an approved cart. So that would be the first step. Get an approved cart. And next would be having a commissary. So we can help you find a commissary. There's a list of approved commissaries on their website. You will need to secure the storage. You will need to have the commercial kitchen or the Miko kitchen to prepare your food and your food handler certificate. This specific permit is renewed every year in June, and the price varies depending on the risk of your cart or your food. So, a ice cream cart is going to be the lower end of the prices. Next would be a fruit cart. Next would be a hot holding cart, and of course, a grill cart last. For those of you wondering, the ranges are usually from anywhere from like $200 on the lower end up to like $900 or $1,000 on the higher end. So Miko, I'm gonna briefly touch on this for those interested in selling from home or preparing their food at home. For example, if you're getting a hot holding cart for tamales, this specific permit is $597. There's currently a program where the public health department will be subsidizing the first 1,000 permits. So if you apply now, you probably get a chance to get that price covered. So the steps are: you apply for this program, you will get inspected, and if you're approved, you will pay for the permit. So, what is allowed with the Miko kitchen? So, like I mentioned, Miko stands for Micro Enterprise Home Kitchen Operation. So, you can operate your home as you would a restaurant, per se. You can have clients come and dine in, you can have clients take out, or you can do delivery. You just cannot use any third party apps such as Uber Eats or Postmates. You would have to deliver the meals yourself. There are limits, however, so 30 meals per day or up to 100,000 sales per year. If you have any employees, they can only work a maximum of 40 hours a week. And if you're operating your micro enterprise home kitchen with a cart, your limit increases to 80 meals per day or $150,000 in sales per year. For this home kitchen, you will need a food manager certification, which is different than a food handler's. Anyone familiar with the food handlers, you can take it online. There's any as cheap as like $7, $8. It's usually a 2 to 3 hour class that you take online, and then if you pass, you get your food handlers. For food managers, you will have to take it's a bit of a longer class, and when you take the test, there does have to be a proctor, so you can't just take it on your own online. If you have any more questions, please feel free to call the health department. Their number is here as well, 626-430-9855. I'd also like to mention that here at Icon CDC, we operate 2 business source centers, and there are 10 centers throughout the city of Los Angeles offering similar services. So if you're not familiar with business source centers, we offer free services to small businesses. You just have to operate or live in the city of Los Angeles. So Icon CDC, we are in the San Fernando Valley, located in the north and south, with one being in Pacoima, another one being in Sherman Oaks. But if you'd like to enroll in a different center that might be closer to you, here is a list of the other centers. Here in the San Fernando Valley, there's another one in the West Valley. And throughout LA, there's some in Hollywood, South Los Angeles, East Los Angeles, Southeast Los Angeles, Harbor San Pedro area, Pico Union area, and the Watts area. What do the business source centers offer? So you can receive free business assistance and resources, information, anything you might need, such as informational workshops, one-on-one consultations, technical assistance. So if you need to apply for permits, we help you apply for them online. It's all free of charge. If you'd like to apply for a loan for your business or grants, we can also help with that. And if you're interested in an entrepreneur training program, there's various business source centers that have free multiple week courses that are free, and you can either attend online or in person, and you get all the tools and resources that you need to start a business. So here are some small businesses recommendations. We went over the requirements for the CART program as well as the license and permits, but I would say there's more important factors to running a business, right? Such as marketing. Right now, you have a lot of free tools such as social media. Very important to brand your business, being on Google Maps, getting those customer reviews. And if you're selling on the street, it's also very important to be able to collect virtual payments. So not everybody accepts virtual payments, and maybe you're losing out on clients. So make sure you have access to applications such as Zelle, Venmo, Cash App, or maybe merchant services such as Square, where you can accept credit card payments and not just cash. Finances. So I mentioned we have a lot of workshops, entrepreneur training programs. Please make sure you get informed on your accounting side of the business, taxes, keeping track of your sales, opening that business bank account, and all that stuff to keep your business in good standing. And lastly, to be in compliance. So this is more for the license and permits, making sure you know the rules of each permit, when they're supposed to be renewed, if you're supposed to pay anything or not, and any other requirements that you need to do to be in compliance. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this presentation. Please follow us. Here's a QR code where you can find us. On Instagram, we are at Icon CDC. On Facebook, Icon space CDC. And if you'd like to leave us a review, you can find us on Google Maps. So you can give us a star rating and leave a review if you'd like. If you've already received services from us, please make sure you let us know if there's anything we can improve, if there's something you like, something you didn't like. So this is a good practice for you to do also for your own business. So for those of you that have businesses or you visit businesses, it's always good to check them out and see what other people are saying, right? Okay, and this concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please reach out. Here is our phone number again, and we have an info sidewalk vending at iconcdc.org email if you'd like to email us. But if you'd like to call, please give us a call or leave a text message or leave a voicemail so that we can get back to you. If anybody has any more questions regarding how to apply for this free CART program, please reach out to us. Thank you.